We
Defend
appreciate
Pop
it.
Tech.
Defend Pop Tech.
All right.
Pop Tech.
Welcome to Local Music Talks. I'm your host, Kayla, and I'm here to learn all about NEPA local musicians and what makes them each and all unique. Today I have with me Logan, Jeff, Lucas, and Noah of Easternfault. Easternfault is a technical metal band based out of Bethlehem, PA. They are often compared to bands such as August Burns Reds and the Human Abstract. How are you guys today?
Pretty good. Thanks for having us.
Wonderful to be here.
Doing good.
Absolutely. I'm happy to have you guys today. We are doing a little Zoom recording. So if you guys hear some like breaking up of the audio, that is why. We are all in different spots. So will you guys tell me the backstory of how Easternfault came to exist?
I guess that one would be me. So Easternfault kind of came together my senior year of high school, 2015. Noah approached me saying, "Hey, I'm looking for someone to play the guitar. I'm trying to get into metal. I'm trying to, start screaming in a band." And through him and his escapades at the gym, we met our former drummer Alberto and ran with him for a couple of years. And then eventually we picked up Lucas through a mutual friend of mine. And through the years, we've gone through a couple of member changes, a couple different bassists. Alberto left in 2022, and Logan has been making excellent headway in filling in those very large shoes. So we're in 2023 and need to keep going.
All right, awesome. So when you guys were starting to become a band, what made you realize you wanted to actually do it, be in the music industry and be playing shows?
I mean, I think that's kind of what you want to do from the start. It's always been a dream of mine. The dream was always to be a rock star, So once I actually had the members, the friends to do it with, it's like, why not give it a shot and try to do it?
All right. So who writes your music?
I write the core of everything, all the guitars and bass and drums and strings and some vocal melodies. And then once I have, the skeleton of a song done, I hand it off to everybody else, be like, all right, this is kind of how I think it should sound. And then from there, everybody takes their own approach to the parts that I kind of, bare bones wrote.
Okay. So where does the inspiration for your writing come from?
I like to think it comes from a lot of different places. I try to listen to lots of different types of music. I know, for example, in the car today, I was listening to Furtado, Carnival, a little Chris Brown, try to get a little bit of everything in there because every style of music has something redeemable about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if you stick with just listening to one genre, your music's going to sound exactly like that. And it's not going to be any different, right?
Yeah. And one thing that I've always strived to do is not to pigeonhole myself into one specific sound because, that was the big, if you want to go on anyone, the big critique of Nickelback back in the day is that, oh my gosh, they wrote the same song over and over and over again. And, that made them very unpopular.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So where does the inspiration for your lyrics come from?
I guess that's going to be a kind of a song by song basis. Since coming back into Easternfault, I've kind of taken a different approach where I'd like to grab inspiration from real life events, real life emotions, rather than maybe storytelling. But it can be events that I've personally experienced or events I've read about online. It's something I'm still finding for myself, and I'm not the sole lyricist by any means. So if Jeff or anyone wants to jump in, but that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Well, I feel just diving into that as well. I kind of agree with what Noah's kind of pushing towards because there's a lot that can be said throughout lyrics where it's storytelling or kind of portraying something that's within a more real standpoint. So trying to find that target between what actually is current event happening and pushing forward with something that can musically be welded together with instrumentals it's quite the mesh.
You could always just go to math rock.
Yeah, right.
Is there a hidden meaning in any of your music?
As far as lyrics go, I don't know if I try like to use our most recent release, Dove Letter, as an example. I wouldn't say the meaning is hidden. I try to be a bit straightforward in a way where the song is really about coming in terms with loss. So it's dealing with, you know, loss of a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I wouldn't say hidden, maybe in the way I approach some of the themes, but that's the main thing I try to focus on now is really drawing it from a place of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I'm just trying to do new, and I feel like I get such a better result doing things that way. So that's what I'm trying to do now moving forward.
Do you guys have a favorite song that you've written?
That's honestly tough because so for me at least, I joined in a little bit later down the line, so I haven't written too much that's out to the world just yet. But regarding like songs that they've put out prior to me, I definitely would say either Cedar and Honey or Horsehair is probably one of my top favorite from us.
Why?
It just has a lot of different technical attributes, especially through a more classical style
Okay.
versus going into something like math rock with a more jazz heavy tone and all that such. So there's a lot more technicality to it as well as it pushes forward with meshing your normal everyday sound that you'll have when you're here listening to metalcore, like for a King, Bad Omens, and all that, as well as bringing in more of that technical deathcore, technical metal, kind of like Carnival and what's the other one, Necrophagus, and all those other bands.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's actually super interesting to interview you guys because a lot of people that I've interviewed are really talking about like the meaning and the feeling behind their music, but you guys are really into the musical aspect, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
That's what I like.
We've all come from a good pool of different backgrounds prior to the project. Personally, for me, I came from starting out with drumming and jazz. I was a huge jazz lover back when I first started drumming. I've been drumming for almost 14 years. And from there I've progressed myself through a lot of like your more classic rock, your heavy like hard rock stuff. Going into like all the 2010, 2015 era type drumming.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started diving into a bunch of more contemporary pieces and more instrumental like pieces because of my background with drumline, because I was playing marimba back in high school. So of keyboard, a lot of mallet percussion, a lot of just runs back and forth, up and down scales and everything, learning
Mm-hmm.
music theory and all that. So there's a lot of love within our camp for the instrumental and the more intricate side of things, for lack of better words. I don't know if Jeff or Lucas want to pop in on that, but that's probably the best I can get that there.
Yeah, do any of you guys also want to say how you started with music?
Yeah, so I just want to piggyback kind of off what Logan was saying. I think you can write a very deep emotive song, but if you don't have the instrumental that reflects the emotion and the feeling that you're trying to put out with the lyrics, it's going to fall flat. So I've always personally strived to have the music instrumentally really match the vibe of what the vocals are trying to portray.
I know what you mean. I completely agree too, especially like I play in symphonic bands, so we don't even use lyrics. We just use instrumentals to express emotion.
So I started when I was about 14 years old. My mom has played classical guitar for my entire life. And at 14, I finally realized, like, hey, that actually might be kind of cool. So I picked up bass first and screwed around for that couple of years. And eventually I felt that, what I wanted to play and what I was playing, I was almost getting a little bored. It was a lot of single note pounding, metal isn't all that in most cases isn't that bass intensive. So I guitar to try to myself a little bit further. And what's funny is now that I've gotten, I'm going to be 26 next month, 10 years of guitar playing. I'm finding that some of the bass stuff is even more complicated than the guitar stuff is.
Oh, wow. I never even thought about it like that. Like the stuff you guys are writing, you're making it more complicated, or just when you're trying to like cover songs?
A little bit of both. Like I said, I found that some of the bass stuff that I was playing early on, the stuff that I listened to religiously in high school, the Asking Alexandrias and the Double Rose Pradas, and that kind of the crabcore stuff wasn't very bass intensive. But now that I found, listening to things like technical death metal, the bass parts are unbelievably complicated. They're just as complicated, if not more, than the guitar on a much more complicated to play instrument. Much longer, different string spacing, much wider, fretboard radius, and much wider. So it's definitely a different challenge than what I remember it being.
Yeah.
As far as me getting started, actually, I started with guitar probably, almost 15, 16 years ago, but that's been on and off. I'm not nearly to the level of Jeff and Lucas or anything, but that's like where I started with the first instrument. I'd say even before that, playing Guitar Hero is what got me like really into like I gotta do music, which is funny enough. And as the vocalist, I didn't even start learning, screaming or even attempting to learn singing or anything like that till I want to say senior year of high school. And it took a while to really get into a comfortable spot with that. But yeah, just walking across the room to Jeff in math class and being like, hey man, I want to learn how to do this. I'm really into this stuff, and I know you're into this stuff. So man, that would have been probably about 17 where I started the vocals. But I feel like music has always been a huge thing for me. I don't know exactly the start where I was like, I need to do something with it now, but that's kind of like the path I went on with it.
Yeah, it seems lucky you guys all found each other.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean, when I was approached by these guys to help them out with a couple shows, going through a couple months, just hanging out, having a good time, playing all the fun shows that were popping up here and there with them, it was definitely like almost a life-changing thing for me. Like I've personally for me, I've never really had that opportunity. I was always just drumming for myself and just doing all the high school stuff at the time. And now I'm 22, about to be 23 next, and it was really really eye-opening for me, like how crazy this industry really is and how fast-paced everything is and how involved it was. So it was definitely a really cool thing for them to take me on. I'm very appreciative of all three of these guys for letting me join the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out there with that, we were really lucky that I didn't have any nerves having you behind us for those shows. I'm not thinking like, oh man, is this guy gonna? Because you were just solid from the start. I just want to throw that out there.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. Was that everybody? Did you guys all say how you started music?
I can hop in here too. Yeah, I'll hop in. So okay, so basically, yeah, I started playing guitar. Like I was playing Guitar Hero, and I just fell in love with that. And then I didn't really take guitar like super serious until I heard Dragon Force, and I was like, wait, you could do this on like a guitar? They're just making like crazy noises and stuff. So I'm like, yo, I gotta like learn. I gotta learn how to do this myself. So that's when I started kind of like taking it serious. And ever since then, it was just like, I want to be as good as I can. I got into Guitar Hero, got me into like screaming music and stuff as well, kind of like what we do now. So yeah, that's kind of how I started. And it's just ever since then, it's been like, how much crazy stuff can I learn on guitar? And then, so that's where our instrumental side really comes from. Cause like, I used to play in like a pop punk band, and that was like a lot simpler music. So when Jeff came around and was like, yo, you want to join my band? And I was like, I listened to it. I'm like, all right, this is the kind of stuff I want to do on guitar. Like this is technical. This is actually gonna like put my chops to the test and whatnot. So that's kind of like how I got into it, pretty much.
Oh, nice. So what musicians inspire your guys' sound?
So personally for me, I was really driven starting out with a lot of like Coheed and Cambria.
Oh, sick.
When I was starting, oh, I love Coheed. I was
They did a little
going off like
show.
crazy.
They did a show at
Really?
a coffee house in Kingston. It was like an
What?
acoustic with just the two main guys, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I went down and saw it. It was cool.
Was this recent?
Yeah, that was a
Oh,
couple months ago.
Oh
Yeah.
my. Oh, I wish we made it there.
I'm
Dang.
sorry,
It
dude. It
was,
was a free
it
show
was
too.
Thursday.
Oh my
All
god.
right, so
But
Coheed
yeah,
and Cambria. Who
yeah,
else?
I was driven by Coheed at first, and then I started driving into like your more metalcore style back in like 2014 with all like your Sleeping Friends and Pierce the Veil and all that. Then driving into a more technical side, I started going into like Periphery and learning more syncopated and more different time change, different beats per minute, and all that mumbo jumbo theory. Eventually landing into more of that darker, heavier style that will just go absolutely nuts from running left and right, fast paced blast beats and all the fun stuff that drummers can do that
Yeah.
I'm getting there too.
You know, Periphery just played a show at the Sherman.
Yeah, we were all there.
We
It
were
was,
Oh,
there,
I was
yeah.
there too.
absolutely. Oh yeah, heck yeah. Oh my god, it was an absolute crazy show.
Oh yeah, it was a good
All
show.
three bands, Loathe, Under Oath, they all put on a phenomenal show. I'm very happy with that tour.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a nice venue too.
Like personally, vocally, my biggest inspiration is probably Ryan Kirby from Fit for a King. He's been my favorite vocalist for years. Him and that band. I definitely picked up a couple of techniques and different styles from Caleb Shomo, from Beartooth, and Randy Blythe, Lamb of God. But I'd say who I really try to a lot from is Ryan Kirby. But then as far as musically how the songs go, that'd probably be more Jeff's territory to get into, being the main songwriter and everything. We get compared pretty often to August Burns Red. We get them in abstract stuff like that, but I'm not going to speak for Jeff on who his actual inspirations are.
Okay. Jeff?
So there is definitely some truth that I listened to a lot of August Burns Red back in the day. Generally, anytime that somebody comments on our music is, oh wow, you guys sound just like August Burns Red, which is definitely cool. It's definitely cool, but it's like the only thing that anyone ever says. So going back to where I kind of started, I was a huge All That Remains fan back when I was younger. Fall of Ideals, Overcome, For We Are Many, three of my favorite albums ever. And listening to Ole Herbert's approach to the instrument for those three albums is truly something that I had never heard before at the time. And as I kind of got along, I kept listening to the very technical guitar players. Jason Richardson, obviously that's the giveaway. Misha Mansours, the Mark Akubos of Veil Maya, Michael Keane from The Faceless, like those kind of guys really feel the instrument into new places while still making it seem like it's a guitar piece, as opposed to something, everyone likes to talk about Tom Morello back in the 90s, and all he did was make random scratching noises through pickups. And I think that really had the same impact that some of these modern guys do.
Yeah, I feel much the same as Jeff with that. Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm drawn to. You have guys like Tosin Abasi who are like pretty much creating new techniques that like no one has done before, or like taking very obscure ones that people don't really know much about and just like making full just pull songs out of something that you didn't know you could even do on an instrument. That to me is just like really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in metal, you kind of have to like try to break it up because so much stuff can sound so similar. All the riffs and
Absolutely.
used so often.
Yeah, that's probably one of the hardest parts within metal, as is to find your own sound that doesn't sound like someone else's.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can compare yourself to all these really cool bands and use them as inspiration and such. But like we were saying earlier, the more you listen to them, the more you're gonna sound like them, and the more you're basically gonna be them
Yeah.
in almost every aspect. So trying to find that target niche that you're trying to hit while still sticking to your roots and everything in between, it's definitely a harder thing to do than say on paper
Yeah.
and all.
Yeah, as much as we love August Burns Red, and it's like to me, all of us, it's like a huge honor getting compared to them. The goal is for people to come up and say, I never heard anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that. How do you guys feel about performing live?
I mean, I'm pretty
Yeah.
confident with it now. When I first started with the first show that I filled in with them for, it was definitely nerve-wracking, but you have to fake it till you make it. So push forward with it, and now I'm like just really confident with pushing forward with playing live, just meeting a bunch of new people and just having a chill time.
Yeah, I just absolutely love it. I feel like that's part of the whole reason, why we're even writing and practicing and doing it all. The adrenaline and thrill of it and meeting all the people, yeah, it's amazing. And it's funny because I was kind of like, not a shy person, but I had right. We had and Jeff could vouch for this in high school. Our public speaking class, I give my speeches after class because I didn't want to be standing in front of everybody. I don't know how they let that slide, but I didn't want to be the center of attention. But on stage, it's just like once you start, it just all goes away, and I just love that feeling. So yeah, to me, it's just the reason to do it, to get that feeling. I love doing it.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I'm slightly, I don't want to say that I'm numb to it, because that's not true, but I'm a little bit more used to it now. I've been playing live shows for the better part of 10 years. So, those first couple of shows, you had the jitters, especially depending on what you're playing. Like I played bass in a pop punk band prior to this. So I really didn't have the same level of worry if I messed up, because I knew that nobody could really cared about me anyway while I was up there. But for this, it's a little bit more taxing, but it's still a great time. I like doing a lot of ridiculous stuff on stage. 2 shows ago, during our last song, Lucas and I took the time to kick Noah while we were performing. He had it coming. I just want to clarify to everyone listening.
Yeah, I
did have it coming. And it's that kind of stuff you can't get anywhere else. It's the interaction between yourself and the people that come out to see you. The energy that's in the room is truly indescribable.
Do you guys have a process or ritual you do beforehand to get rid of any nerves?
I mean, I personally, I kind of get secluded in a way, I guess, for at least 20 minutes before you play, just doing my warm up and everything. It's not, I mean, I guess close to meditating. I try to get in that mood a little bit, but I also don't want to get too serious about it. You want to go into it loose and ready to have some fun. I also infamously do not eat like all day, and that's a habit I should probably break. But
yeah,
that's just something I don't know. I've been doing that since the start, so I'm trying to get better with it. But
yeah, he has the worst ritual of all.
Yeah.
I starve myself.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
a
my
monk or
God.
something.
What's your favorite show you guys have played at?
Ooh, man.
They have a lot more under their belt than I do. So I'll let them speak first.
I think the favorite show we've ever done was we played with the Summer Slaughter Tour in 2019. That was really cool because it was the first time that I was playing with bands that like I really, really grew up and idolized. You'd Cattle Decapitation on that, Lorna Shore, Brand
wow.
Sacrifice, The Faceless, all bands that I, within reason, grew up on, and it was really cool to see your idol, like, be on stage with your idols.
Yeah.
If I can, the worst show we've ever played was at a cowboy themed bar in Asbury, New Jersey, that I picked up from a couple of guys looking for someone to play with on Craigslist. And it was a Saturday night in the summertime. I think it was like July 4th weekend. And we get in there, and there is one bartender and the sound guy, and there is not a single soul in the building.
Oh,
So,
no.
Oh yeah. So we go up, we get all our stuff set up, and we check a little bit, and I wave up to the sound guy who's in the back of the room behind his board. I give him the thumbs up. He's like, "Yeah, we're good to go." So we start playing. By our third or fourth song, the subwoofer on stage has wiggled the connection laptop to the interface out. So our tracks and clicks completely stop. So we finish out the song with no clicks, and we go get started again. And the sound guy's like, "You're good." Like, what are you talking about? Good. Was that not your sound check? We had played 5 songs for a sound check without him realizing.
Oh my God.
So we then finish up, play our last song with the lights turned down again to nobody except for the other band, like another 4-piece band. I forget where they were from. And we sat there, watched them for 45 minutes, and I think we were out of there by like 8:30. Just nobody walked in the entire night. There was not a single patron in the building the whole time.
Did you get paid?
I think we might have gotten comped like a round of White Claws.
Oh
It
my
was White Claw
God.
summer.
Did you
But
guys
that
drive all the
was-
way down to New Jersey?
It
Just for
was
that?
it was maybe like a half hour or so. So it wasn't like the end of the world,
Okay.
but it's definitely not something that I'd want to do again.
Yeah, absolutely not. That sucks. Now,
I
do you
wanted
guys
to
have
say, oh, no, go ahead.
No, you say something. I got a question after.
Okay, because I wasn't involved with either of those shows at the time, so I was gonna say probably opening for Escape the Fate was really cool, because that was the first year that we started playing shows. So to go from playing our first show in a basement to a couple people to playing this venue, One Center Square, which has since closed down, in Easton in front of a couple hundred within the span of a couple months, was just amazing.
Yeah,
But,
that definitely had to be encouraging.
yeah.
So, do you guys have a venue that you really want to play at, your dream venue?
Oh, too many for me.
Yeah. I mean, the first one that pops to my head would be, well, there's two. I love Starland Ballroom. That's I don't you've ever been there? It's in Sayresville, New Jersey.
I have
But-
not.
Okay, I love that place, and also closer to home, the Wind Creek would be pretty cool. But those are both, those are huge. Those hold a lot of people, but those would be the dream right there for me.
Yeah.
So personally for me, Sherman Theater stands out immensely just because of
Mhm.
how absolutely atmospheric the place is and just how they've set themselves up for that insane performance venue as is. On a kind of a smaller-ish scale a little bit. House of Independence in Asbury Park, New Jersey, absolutely on the top 5 that I want to play for sure.
All right, cool. Anyone else?
I forgot to add, love drafts in Harrisburg was a goal of mine for a while. We finally got to play that
Yeah.
this year, and it was so much fun. I'm so glad we finally got to play there, and I'm glad it was such a good time. It was all I could have hoped for, but that was on my list. We got to hit that this year.
All right, cool. So, what is the best piece of advice another musician has ever given you that you guys as a band take to heart?
I mean, the best piece of advice that I've personally ever been given was just to go out there and perform to the best of your ability. and let anything or anyone try to talk you out of it, talk you down of it. If you think it's going to flop or you think it's going to actually do way better than you expected, just do it regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, you're experiencing something that you've never done before or something you've consistently done and you're continuously improving. Because from just now with doing like basement shows or even just doing covers on your own for your family, friends, and all that, and growing from there, it's just only one way and it's only going up from there,
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I was always driven towards, especially through percussion, drumming, and just everything in between, from mentors to family, anyone really.
Now, is that the advice that you would all give to another musician?
I personally would. I don't know about you guys.
I mean, I feel like I would say just make sure you're staying true to yourself, doing what you want to do, and you got to make sure that you're having fun doing it, or else why are you doing it?
Yeah. I agree with that.
So, do you guys want to be famous?
Yes.
All
What do
right.
you mean? We already are.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. I've always said the level I at least want to get to is I'll be walking around our public mall and they'll be like, "Hey, isn't that guy from that band?" And I just at least want to hit that level.
Yeah, I know
You
what you mean.
I think the main goal out of everything that our endeavors take us on is just the continued growth for as far as we're able to go. We're not trying to like fast pace anything, like cut edges and everything to get to where we want to be. We're trying to take the route that it best suits us,
Yeah.
trying to push forward within a positive growth and a positive mindset. That way we're not trying to just circumvent different ways to get around people and try to go these really just back end ways that are going to end poorly in the long run. It's just a matter of actually taking the time, taking the initiative of
Organic growth.
organic growth. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think my approach to it is a little bit than theirs. Is that I don't necessarily want to be famous. I just want to inspire the next generation of kids to come out and do the same thing that we're doing. Because I can think of a couple of guys that when I was, 16, 17, 18, I wanted to have them, or I wanted to be them. I wanted to be on stage and play sick songs and riffs and all the other stuff, cool stuff that went on with playing in the band, going in the van and showering at a bus stop or a truck stop. Yeah, bus stop. Like all that kind of stuff. And to me, I thought that was super cool. And now that I'm kind of a little bit older, it's a little lost on me. But like, I don't want to take that away from the 16-year-old, 17-year-olds. Those high school kids that are looking for a sense of meaning. Hopefully, they can, if they're looking to do something like this. Hopefully, that we can show them what they can do.
Yeah, I'm kind of similar with that, where it would be cool to see people like wanting, like, covering things that I wrote. Like if I wrote, like I played like a guitar solo, like seeing like a bunch of people on like Instagram like covering it, learning how to play it and stuff. That would just be like really impressive to me. Just that I'm kind of putting something out there for people that they're taking something, they're getting something out of like what I put out into the world, basically. As far as fame, I mean, I would like to be famous. I mean, it would be cool if I could be like a full-time guitar player and have to do like a day job or something. That would be amazing. I'm getting older as well, so it does get a little harder to see that, but you never know.
Yeah. Anything else on that?
Yeah, Luke, if you want people to cover your solos, you should probably make them a little less difficult.
Yeah. That's fair.
Have you seen some of these kids though?
I
Look at everyone
have.
from Polyphia.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, real quick, individually, what do you all do outside of music? Who are you?
Noah?
Oh, I'm going first.
Yes, you are.
Man. Outside of music, I'm very into hockey, the Pittsburgh Penguins. I am a proud vegan and owner of 2 cats. I work for the post office. I'm the reason no one gets their mail on time. And oh man, I'm really a boring person. I'm straight edge, so I'm not going out and drinking. I already said I'm vegan. I'm not going out and eating burgers. I don't know what I do, but I think the music really that's my main, focus, main hobby. So that really does take up most of my concentration. But yeah, other than that, just husband and cat dad.
All right.
So outside of the band, I work for a grocery distribution warehouse, and we service almost the entirety of any grocery store for the entirety of New York City and the 2 islands, so Long and Staten Island, which is cool. And outside of actual work, I'm mainly just doing like photography and video editing.
Oh, sick. Same.
Yeah.
We got to talk after this then.
Oh, definitely.
All right. Who's next?
So outside of music, I guess I really don't have an outside of music because my day job, I'm a telephony engineer. Pretty much everything I do is audio, whether it be music or phones or video or any kind of communication like that. That's 24 hours a day. I guess beyond that, I kind of wind down with things like Yu-Gi-Oh, children's card game. I bowl once a week, real blue collar, and I like to go out. Much unlike Noah, I will have a drink or two and a burger pretty much like any night. And whenever someone wants to hang out or do something, I'm always down.
Yeah.
I'm just a big nerd, basically. I mean, I like anime, video games. I love art. You probably saw the art on my wall in the earlier part of the interview and stuff. So I've always I used to draw a lot and stuff like that until I picked up guitar, and then guitar kind of over. I used to draw like comics and things, and it's just been interested in that. I'm really big into horror. I love horror movies, stuff like that. Or going out with like these guys, except for Noah.
I'll still go out. I'm just not drinking.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. But yeah, and I just play a lot of guitar too, so it's hard for me outside of music too. Because if I'm not out doing stuff, I'll sit here and just play guitar, honestly.
All right, cool. So, do you guys have music coming out anytime soon?
We do. I can't really say when
Okay.
or how much, but it definitely will be out in 2023. We're hoping for sometime in the spring into the early summer, if we can get everything worked out, with the myriad of things that has to happen before you release a song. It's so much more nowadays than just popping out a couple of songs and dropping them on a CD and shoving it into your local record store.
Yeah, let's just say big things coming soon. I think we can sum it up with that.
All right, cool. And where can we find your music at currently? So
all of our music is distributed everywhere. You got Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. If you just look up Easternfault, you're good to go to find it almost anywhere. All right. And is there anything else that you want your audience to know about you guys?
You can find everything other than the music. I just want to throw this in there at our link tree. We pretty much have like all of our links there. We got so many sites and different avenues you can go through. But if anyone else wanted to throw anything else out,
I mean, other than that, I think thank you for the opportunity on this, as this is probably the coolest thing we've done in a hot minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for coming on, and thank you for taking the time to all get together and be able to do this as well. I know it's hard to find time.
of course.
Thank you. Defend Pop Tech.
Defend Pop Tech.
All right.
Pop Tech.
All right. Well, thank you guys. And you can find Easternfault's music on all streaming platforms, and their socials and Linktree will be linked below. Thank you guys for listening, and tune in next time to learn about your favorite local musicians.